Hi, welcome to a short video demonstration of the new whiteboard feature in Dad 2.0. Here you can see I'm in Dad and I have the new whiteboard tab selected, and I currently have no whiteboards defined. So to get started I just click on the plus here and I see a basically empty whiteboard in front of me. The first thing I want to do is set up my whiteboard details, and I can give the whiteboard a particular name. I can actually make it a play or a drill, and Dad will organize things based on that. And then I can set up my team and the opposition. So in this case I'm going to do just a 7-on-7 arrangement. I'm going to do a little bit of a different formation for the opposition. Give them a color. Because I started out from my global list of whiteboards, Dad didn't pre-populate any of this information, so I have the flexibility to, set up my team with more players if I want to show like a drill where I have unequal players on each side. If I actually started the whiteboard from a game, Dad would pull all the information in from the current game. So your current rotation, the formation that you're using, the color that your team is, and things like that. So doing it this way gives you the ultimate flexibility. Doing it the other way, you kind of pull in that information. You don't have to set up anything to get started. Okay. But now we've done that, we can go back to the whiteboard, and Dad's given, based on my formation, my number of players, it's given the default layout here. And Dad names the positions. Again, if you'd started from a game with a particular lineup, Dad would actually pull in the players' names and put them in the appropriate places. Here you see grey circles, and I'm on the what's called the home step. So in this particular step, what I'm doing is I'm sort of setting the initial positions of my players. The grey circles tell me first I'm in the mode where I can drag players around, so it gives you just that indication. The other thing it tells you is kind of where you can touch in order to drag players. What I struggled with the whiteboard was I wanted the X's and O's to be sort of scaled appropriately according to the pitch. They're still a bit large, especially on the iPhone. But making them small enough meant touching them was kind of difficult, especially with your clumsy finger. So the grey circle gives you kind of a bigger area where you can touch. Okay. So I'm going to move this player in to the center circle. He's going to, we're going to set up for a kickoff. And what you'll see is as he moves closer to the ball, his grey circle turns green. And what that means is he's close enough to be considered to be in the possession of that ball. Okay, and we'll see how that's used in a second. So we're going to move a couple of other players up. We can, play around to our heart's content here. And in the home step, really all Dad is doing is it's going to remember, where those players ended up. But it's not really going to visually show you tracking of those players around at this point. When I move on, when I'm happy with this, I can move on to my first step. So it says step 1 here. And now Dad's actually going to show you, as you move players around or the ball around, it's actually going to show you where the ball started and where it finished. Okay, so let's just illustrate that. So it's kickoff. We're going to just do a little pass. So in order to pass the ball, I need to touch closest to the ball. Okay, and we do a little pass, a little bit of an exaggerated one, and then I can move players. I can move this guy up so he gets possession of the ball, and then I can show some off the ball sort of movement, how I want my other players to move here. Okay. I can also, if we want to show how we think the opposition might respond to this, we can show that too. Basically, the idea behind a step is it's small enough to just capture all the sort of simultaneous movements that you want to illustrate. Okay, so once I'm happy with this step, I can move on. And what I want to show you here, we showed a little pass. So with a pass, I touch closest to the ball, I move the ball by itself. The green circle here says that this guy actually has possession of that ball. So if I move him first, he's going to actually dribble with the ball. Okay, and that's shown with a dashed line. To me, this seemed like the most natural way to sort of illustrate that dribbling versus passing. So again, we're going to move these other players off the ball. And go on to my next step. I'm going to do another pass. Get this guy to run onto it. Okay. Show some other off the ball movement. Go to my next step. And here I'm going to do my shot. Okay, so that's the end of my my play that I want to illustrate. So here I can go back to home. If I want to just review it myself, I can see the steps one by one, and you see the nice little animation that you get. Oops. If I can actually touch from the angle that I'm at. Okay, so there we go. We saw the play step by step. The other thing you can do is, if you're showing this to your players, you might want to just play it back as a whole play. So here, that's what my play button does. And here, sort of the steps are all joined together, so you see the flow, the complete flow of the play. Okay. So the other thing I might want to do, let's go through these steps. I might want to highlight a particular area of this particular play. So that's what drawing mode's used for. So I might want to say, okay, this guy, watch out for this guy. So I go into drawing mode and I say, watch out. You need to pay attention to this guy. You need to make your pass quick enough so that you're drawing him in, but you're not letting him come too close that he's going to intercept your pass. Okay. I have a couple of options here. So this is drawing. I just turned on drawing and I started drawing. You can actually click and hold on this, pick a different color, go crazy, pick a custom color here. This is another new feature in Soccer Dad. Pick whatever shade of this that you want. Done, and the pass is actually going to go to him. Okay. What Soccer Dad does is it actually associates those lines with this particular step. So again, if I play this back, this time I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to say play it back fast. Okay, so you see those lines appear at the particular time that you want them to, based on the step that you use to draw them. Okay, so that's drawing. Plus, that's to add something. So if you're doing a drill, you can add cones. You just add them, and I can show you this. There's a cone. Cones are not tracked, right? They just stay wherever you place them. And for cones, you can actually click on them and delete the cone, take it back off. Okay. The other things you can add, if you're doing a drill and you want multiple balls, you can add more balls to the play. And again, those sort of a natural thing. Possession works in the same way, dribbling works in the same way, that type of thing. You can also add a comment. So you want to put some text on this, you can move it around where you want, touch it. So move to space. Put it where you want to highlight, and you can add multiple pieces of text. We saw moving from step to step. Again, if I click and hold on this, I can actually jump to a particular step in this animation. Okay, so that's clicking and holding there. Clicking and holding on the play button gives me different options for playback speed. So, you want it to play really slow so people see it for the first time, but then you might want to play it fast to just get that sort of flow down as it moves from step to step. Home just takes you back to the home stage. Delete, you have various options here. Here I drew lines on this particular step so I could clear those out. Okay, and it just clears them for the current step. If I was unhappy, I get to the last step of the play and I mess it up, I can actually reset the moves, and it just resets all the moves for that particular step. finally, you can reset the board. So you really screw up and you want to set it back to that initial formation. You can do that. This actually deletes things. It's not just like going to the home step. It gets rid of all the steps and puts you back sort of into that blank slate, if you like. A couple of other little features I wanted to show. Currently this is showing you the full pitch. That may be great for these plays where you show from kickoff, blah blah blah, but you may want to show what to do at a corner kick or things like that. So you may want to focus on a particular area of the pitch. So what you can do there, just double tap, okay? And what Soccer Dad does is it sort of rotates the pitch so that you get the best use of that available space. Okay, so that's focusing on the area that I'm attacking. Okay, I can actually touch when I'm in this sort of zoomed in mode, I can actually touch on the edges of the screen and it scrolls me to other areas of the pitch. Okay, so back, and finally to zoom back out, it's just double tap with 2 fingers, just like in the Maps application. So the neat thing is that Soccer Dad will remember that, so it'll associate the view that you had with the particular step. So you could start out your play in full pitch mode, then as the play moves down the field and you want to focus on the area around the goal, you can actually double click, and Soccer Dad will, when you play that back, it will remember that and position you in that same spot. One last thing I wanted to show is you can actually email your whiteboards. So this is to another Soccer Dad user. You have a play or a drill that you really want to share. You can actually email that whiteboard, and it's emailing the full content. So when that person receives it, they can load it in, and I'll show you how that works in a second here. I've got one that I did earlier. You can load that in and then play it back just as if you'd created it yourself. And Soccer Dad is smart enough, you set it up on an iPad, you email it to somebody who has an iPhone, then Soccer Dad will scale it appropriately for that device that it winds up on. Okay, full undo support here, so I was changing the view of the pitch, but if you're moving players and things like that, you can undo in multiple steps and redo. Okay. The other thing that Soccer Dad does is that you might have seen that the title bar and navigation bar sort of moved off the screen to give you that full screen focus on the pitch. You can bring them back just by touching. Okay, so this is a new whiteboard. If I just wanted it to illustrate a point and I never wanted to see it again, I could just cancel and it's not saved in my database. If I want to preserve it, I click done. There's my whiteboard. I can come back to it. I can use it over and over again. It's stored just like any other item within your database. So let's just try and find an email here. So here we go. I'm glad I could actually scroll to that. Okay, so here's something that I sent to myself just for illustration purposes. That's what the attachment looks like when you view it on your iPad or iPhone, and you can say, you click on it and you say, yes, I want to open that in Soccer Dad. So this was a very similar play to the one I just showed you, but a little bit different. So you see that it's not a, so there you go, there's another little play. I can now, I've got the same option here. I can say, I'm not really interested in keeping that, or I can say, yeah, keep it, and then it gets added to my list of whiteboards. In this case, I'm going to say no thanks. Okay, so that gives you an idea about how the whiteboard works. Any questions, go to my support page and please send me email, and I'll try my best to answer those. Okay, thank you very much.